Hi there, my name is Schulke. I'm a marketing director here in Dell's Data Center Solutions organization, and wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking to you about a topic that we refer to as roll your own, but really comes back to this whole idea of customers that get large enough and decide to go off and design their own servers as opposed to working with someone like an OEM like Dell to provide those. Really, first and foremost, what we like to talk about in this space is this whole idea of this myth that the only way you can get a server with all the features that you want is to go off and do it on your own. Dell's Data Center Solutions organization was established 4 years ago to go off and serve customers that had the scale to go off and really justify this sort of model. We've developed 60 plus platforms to date in that effort, and so we really think that's a bit of a myth, and if you have the necessary scale to justify doing a server design, then we're absolutely ready to have that conversation with you. The second point I'd like to touch on is a bit on this whole idea of accountability. And really, as you entertain this idea of going off and doing your own servers or hardware, you become the single throat to choke, as we like to say, whereas we like to put ourselves into that position for our customers all the time, so we don't have to worry about a lot of the complexities associated with managing all the things that go on behind the scenes. An example of this that I would highlight would be, we recently had a very large customer had their hard drives, a portion of their hard drives, falling offline when they went through a software installation process. And so you had this very complex interaction going on where you had, the hard drive, the server in question, the RAID card that was installed, and all the interactions going on during this software installation process. Well, we as Dell, because that was our solution that we deployed and validated, were able to bring all the necessary resources to bear to figure that out, as well as pulling in all of our partners associated with those subsystems to help us in that effort and provide a very fast and quick response. A lot of times when people go off and do their own servers, they may not necessarily appreciate that they're going to be the ones in that role having to orchestrate that and then have that broad knowledge base to go off and solve those sorts of problems. The other element that I always like to touch on in this sort of conversation is this whole idea of continuity of supply. And this may not sound like it's anything to be concerned about, but recent events here globally, most notably the earthquake and tsunami that impacted northern Japan, had a huge impact on the high-tech industry. And it was an amazing thing to watch when we as Dell responded after that tragedy took place in terms of assessing and understanding the impact on our overall business of all of the, not only the first level components and subsystems coming from that affected area, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth level, buried deep within bills of materials and understanding the impact to our business and how our organization was able to manage and mitigate a lot of that by simply, making the necessary, exercising the contingencies that we had put in place for a lot of this to go on. When you go off and do your own server, and let's say you're doing one server and you're trying to manage that supply chain, it'll be a little bit more difficult and challenging to support that sort of contingency plan to scale, as well as just the necessary resources to go off and manage that. So, in summary, those are some areas we like people to consider when they're deciding if they want to do business with us here at Dell Data Center Solutions or going off and entertaining in their own server.